bit of a walker, so I'm not going to stand behind that. So this is me as an infant, and my name is Layne, and I'm going to be sharing my journey leading up to my surgery from infancy, and all the signs that came up, all the issues I had, and how I was eventually diagnosed, again, with hip dysplasia. Is this loud enough for everybody? Okay.
Make sure Spence can hear you. Stay in front of his computer.
Can you hear me? He's fine. He's fine. So this is me as an infant in my Pavlik harness. I was diagnosed by Dr. Anton Duke when I was born, and he did one of those little tests that was shown and found a hip click. I was double diapered for 3 weeks until my appointment, the 31st, and basically it was to help set my hips as much as possible until I could be seen at the orthopedic clinic at Children's Hospital. So after I was seen there, I was put in the Pavlik harness, and my scans were all clear after 3 months of wearing it. No more hip dysplasia, everything was great. And I started sports at age 3, and I continued till I was 11 with no pain whatsoever. No signs, no groin pain, nothing, no issues. So in 7th grade, I started developing a lot of issues. I sprained both of my ankles through volleyball practice and track practice. I was doing a lot of events. Through junior high, I did basketball, volleyball, cross country, track, and I swam in the summer. So I was really busy. But I went in with the trainer, and he thought that I just had weak ankles. And we stuck with that for a little bit and eventually realized that I was hypermobile based on how my body was moving and responding to things that he did. So I later started having really intense knee pain when I was distance running and basketball. It was really, really bad, and we didn't know what it was. So a couple friends had osteosclerosis. It's very common when you're in junior high, but I never grew, and I had the knee pain for over a year and a half. In January 2021 was when the actual hip issues started, and I had severe hamstring pain and like the base of my butt. And through basketball and cross country, I was in so much pain in those combined activities that I decided not to run my track season. My track season, I triple jumped, I long jumped, I pole vaulted, and I threw discus, but I didn't do any running events because I was in so much pain that I could not run whatsoever. I could sprint a little ways and jump, and that was just about it. So after my conference track meet, we went to a doctor, and I begged for an MRI. She stretched me a little bit and said that she didn't feel like it was necessary, and that I probably had a pulled muscle of some sort. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, we're good. So she thought that I probably had a pulled muscle of some sort, and I remember telling her, I really feel like it's more than that. I really feel like I have a torn muscle because it just doesn't feel right. She stressed me out. She said, no, I don't think so. And I begged, and she finally caved and was like, okay, fine. If you really feel this is necessary, then we're gonna do the MRI. So on my MRI, which is there, we found that I did in fact have 2 hamstring tears, and that was a little bit scary for me, knowing that that was something that I could have completely overlooked, never known. But I was really thankful that I got this MRI. And so then I continued having issues. So after I took quite a bit of time off from my sports with the 2 hamstring tears, and everything basically returned to normal, and I started running again, I started high jumping, I started doing all the things, and I started feeling the pain in different places in my hip. And I was like, Mom, I feel it still, but it's different. I feel like it's in my socket. And we didn't really know, we didn't know what to do about it. We just thought it was some of the pain returning, and we would take more time off. And we would go see another doctor. And my second MRI, actually, my doctor read the scan and said that he couldn't find any issues with it, that there wasn't anything wrong. And that was so disheartening for me because I knew that there was an issue. I knew that there was something wrong with my body, something that was problematic, and he basically told me that there was nothing he could do because there wasn't anything he could see that was wrong. And I got into physical therapy. My physical therapist was really worried about me because I couldn't stand on one leg without bursting into tears because I was in so much pain. And nobody knew what was wrong. So I ran cross country beginning of my 8th grade year. And I was in so much pain constantly. But I really was excited for my first meet, and I was like, it's gonna be okay. And I got out there with a brace on each knee, K-tape on each knee, and athletic tape wrapped around my brace. And I ran my 2 miles, and I cried. And I cried a lot. And I got in the car and I said, Mom, I need another MRI. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if we're gonna figure out what's wrong, but I need another one. And so we got one. And this is
Third.
Yeah, this is my 3rd MRI, which was a contrast MRI. And we went to see Dr. Layne at Children's Hospital.
Get behind the podium so he can hear you.
Fine. Okay, no, I like standing here. But we saw Dr. Layne, and my mom had mentioned throughout like every single doctor's appointment, hey, like Layne did have hip dysplasia as an infant. Is this something that could still be affecting the situation? And it was always brushed away because it had been corrected and it had been fixed, and I had completely clear scans when I was an infant. So it was pushed to the side and always was, that's not the issue. That's not the issue, it's something else. So Layne got a couple x-rays at just the right angle, and he said, you know what, I'm really suspicious that you still have hip dysplasia and possibly something else. And we did a contrast MRI, and I had serious degeneration in my sockets and hip dysplasia still. So he recommended us to another doctor, and that doctor did some more scans, measured my socket, and we were told there's a possibility you could qualify for the surgery, but they don't do in Arkansas, and you're gonna have to make an appointment with this guy in St. Louis, and you're gonna have to wait 6 months for your appointment, and then you're gonna have to wait 6 more months to get the surgery if you qualify. And I was like, you know what? I've been in pain for a year and a half, we're gonna take the risk. But then we randomly decided to schedule at Campbell Clinic, which was not where we were going to go originally. We were going to go all the way 6 hours away to St. Louis, which would have been insane. But we scheduled our appointment the July 13th, 2022 with Dr. Spence. And I moved around again, got some more x-rays, and he was like, you do qualify for the surgery. And PA came in and she talked to us and she was like, hey, I know it's really far out, but the closest we can get you in is about a month out for surgery. And I was so excited. I was so excited. I knew how long that I would have been waiting if I had gone to Clohesi in St. Louis, and it was so amazing for me to have a resource this close, which in 3 hours, it's okay. But follow-up trips were really, really rough, going back and forth for, like, I would have to schedule and take out a whole day of school, and we would go all the way to Memphis, and then we would go all the way back. And it was not fun being in the car for that long and not being able to walk, and I was in a lot of pain. But I also started a new school at the time, and I went to my new school, Central High School, for 2 days. 2 days. And then I had to go all the way to Memphis, and I did not come for about 2 weeks. So, and then I came back to a wheelchair. But waking up from recovery was really, really rough. This is me going back to surgery. Really silly. But I woke up in extreme pain in recovery, and I was like bawling. I was like, please put me back out. I really don't want to be awake right now. But I had a hard time coming to. I stopped breathing, and they were really worried about me, and my anesthesiologist was really hesitant to give me any more pain medicine. But Spence came in and said, you know what, just give her some more pain meds. It's fine. So, give her more pain medicine. So this is like a direct comparison from the side that had already been done at this point to my other hip. and you can see how it's much less like prominent on this side. And my hips already did stick out a lot, but you can really see like physically what's actually happening. And that's a picture of my hips being measured to see if I qualify for surgery. So this is just a little piece. Medication was really, really rough for me. I had already, it was already really difficult mentally to be taken out of all of these activities that I had used as coping mechanisms for so long. Like running was what I used to keep myself stable. And going back and forth where I would get to run and I would have to take time off and get to run and have to take time off was already difficult enough. But being told I was going to have to sit out of activities for a full year was really, really difficult. And on top of that, the medications I was on, I did not work very well with. So Valium was really, really rough for me because other than being a muscle relaxant, it's something that they use a little bit here. So I thought I could walk. I freaked out. I would sit in my bed and be like, Mom, I can walk, I need to go, I need to leave, let me out, I have to go pee, I have to go to the bathroom. And it was not a good situation. Hydrocodone was also really, really rough for me because I couldn't sleep. I would stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I would scoot around on my walker through the house at night, and it made me feel horrible. But luckily I wasn't on the next one. So this is me in my wheelchair at school. Fun fact, each hallway at Central High School is 1/4 of a mile long. So there's one elevator in that whole school, and it's right in the middle. So if you want to go from class to class, you have to go all the way to the elevator, and then you go all the way to this side or that side, and it was rough. I got in crazy arm workouts every day. But we pushed the surgeries as close together as possible. So most recommend solid 6 months between the big two. And we pushed ours, or mine, 4 months apart, which was really difficult, but I also was so determined to be able to return to sports and do all the things that I loved as soon as possible. So that's me at a follow-up appointment, and that's me after my first surgery. Being on crutches was also very, very difficult for, like I said, I am hypermobile, so my wrists did not like the amount of time that I was crutching around and putting all of my weight on them. I have holes in a bunch of my long sleeve shirts, actually, because of how long I was on the crutches. So at the end of my second surgery, I was wearing a brace on both wrists to support them because of my tendonitis that had developed in both. And I had gotten a steroid shot in one of my wrists. It was really, really rough. So there are a lot of other things that play into this one big thing that was going on. So this is me. I tried out for Wednesday Addams in my school's play on a walker because I didn't want to let my physical disabilities that I was dealing with at the time limit me and prevent me from still doing the fun things that I would do not being disabled. And this is me at the graveyard with my mom because she always wanted to take me out and get me out of the house, get me out of this hole that I was in. And I'm showing the good of it, but I really isolated myself my freshman year because of the amount of, I made a lot of excuses. I would eat lunch by myself, I left all my classes early to not be caught in traffic, and so I didn't want to make friends with people. I just wanted to get this over with, deal with everything, and I really regretted that this year because I was like, now I have to, it's basically starting from square one. But that's the mental aspect of something that was really difficult for me. I think it's really silly that I have my sketchbook in this picture, and throughout this process, I always carried around a sketchbook. And so I'm going to show you guys later a little bit of some pieces that I made that were kind of related to this stuff. So this was my second surgery, which we went to the Memphis Zoo, and it was amazing, but it was horribly cold, and I had just started being able to walk again. So it was a lot of walking for my still very, very atrophied muscles and my new hip. So we stayed in the FedEx house, and it was absolutely amazing. Mind you, this is December 19th, so this is my Christmas. My Christmas was the surgery, and it was not fun, but they gave us tickets to the zoo, Christmas presents, it was really amazing, the help that they provided emotionally, like the support that we got from all of the people around us. So this is me before my second surgery, and that's me, Dr. Spence. That's me. She was absolutely wonderful. She would wheel me around to the library and let me pick up books. And that's me holding my tea bag. I always tried to make the most of it. Spence actually refers to me as a pleasant, cooperative female patient in all of my medical records. So I would sing a different song every time I went back, and I would sing it until I was completely out. So I believe my third and fourth surgeries, which we pushed together, were Let It Grow. And I would sing from the thorax, let it grow, until I was out. So I was a bit of a So this is, okay, first, this is me, heavily overdosed. They did not give me the correct prescription, but that's okay. One of my medications for my panic attacks was in the system that was not something that was actually supposed to be filled. I took once a week or less, not often. And I was on it every 6 hours, so I was really groggy. And then we realized, and I was like, hey, Mom, I've taken this pill like 3 times. But, you know, it was okay. And this was also after the second surgery when we would go to this vegan cafe, because at the time I was vegan, and I was for like a really long time. And we would always eat this absolutely wonderful meal. And this man paid for our meal that day, which was really sweet. We needed it. And that's my uncle. So this is a description of the third and fourth surgeries, which, like I said, we pushed together May 8th. Yeah, May 8th. And this was when they were taking out the screws on both sides. Okay, so this is 3 pieces that I made last year, because so I'm in AP drawing this year, and we have a sustained investigation or a question that guides our work throughout the entire year. So we started that in last year in drawing 2, and my sustained investigation at the time, my question, was basically about how my surgeries affected my life and how they isolated me. So that's me pole vaulting with little hip x-ray, and this was basically about how I felt so sick watching all of my friends improve at their activities, watching my friends get better at pole vaulting, watching my friends wrestle, watching my friends do all these things that I wanted to do so bad for a whole year. And I just kept seeing people get better and better and better, and I was definitely feeling some FOMO. And I was really sad. I was really sad I lost. This piece actually won an award when it was finished at the art competition at the Arkansas Young Artists Association. So this is me this year. I decided I wanted to wrestle. As soon as I could walk, I came up to the wrestling coach and I was like, hey, I'm ready. First time I ever met him, I was in a wheelchair, and I had told him, I'm gonna wrestle when I'm out of this. And he was like, oh, sure you are. Okay. And I showed up to practice one day, and I just started wrestling. And it was really hard and really weird, and I did not like it. And I mean, eventually I just kind of caught on and figured it out. And I got second in state in my weight class this year, which was really, really exciting for me because I felt, I wanted to inspire other people with the fact that I couldn't even walk at this time last year. I was in a wheelchair, my muscles were completely atrophied, going from that to getting second in the state in the sport I did. And I really wanted that to be able to affect people. And I have a woman reached out to me at the state tournament and did a column about my story in the Wrestling International magazine. So that was really exciting for me because I get to spread this thing that happened to me that turned into this really great thing to other people. So this is me wrestling. Don't read that. I didn't add that to this. That was not me. Where's the little button? Oh. Which one?
Hit it again.
Which button is the play button?
Press
Okay, I'm
it.
just gonna pick it. Alright, okay, guys. Fun fact. Let's do this. Okay, so this is, it's a video, yeah. So this is me wrestling, if it will play.
There you go. Stop, stop, stop.
Stop? What do you mean
Let it
stop?
play. Let it play. Hold on. It's buffering.
That was buffering, okay.
Did you pull this off the USB?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna load the video. It's just
Okay,
gonna take
womp
some
womp.
Yeah.
So this is me wrestling. And then this is me pole vaulting, which is also not gonna play, but you get the idea. So basically, my end goal with this is to just spread awareness for this issue that I spent 1.5 years trying to get re-diagnosed with. Because all it takes is a couple scans from the right angle. And nobody talks about hip dysplasia. I mean, it's like, people know about it, babies have it, but if you have it as a baby and you get it corrected, it's, like Spence said, it's not very common that it comes back and expresses itself in the way that mine did. But if I had found out a little earlier, maybe it could have been really nice. But it's okay. So